Hello, it's me, Red. Today I'm going to be reading some r/malicious compliance. Let's get into it. Boss doesn't want my help unless she specifically asks for it. A few years ago I took a customer service job and my boss Shirley was the laziest, snarkiest person I've ever worked around. She spent her day on social media and personal calls while her inbox grew. Shirley's boss rarely came around and was happy as long as Shirley didn't bring any problems to her, so of course, Shirley didn't. She buried the problems. After I'd been there a couple of weeks, Shirley was showing us some new procedure. I don't even remember what it was, but it was something I'd done in a previous position, and there was a much easier way of doing it. I asked if I could make a suggestion. Shirley instantly shot it down. No, I don't want suggestions or help unless I specifically ask for them. Just do what I tell you to do. It was embarrassing and demeaning to say the least. When Shirley went to lunch, the girl who'd been training me asked me what I was going to suggest and I showed her. She agreed it was much more efficient and she showed the others. She told me they just worked around Shirley. They all disliked her and just waited until she was away to discuss problems and come up with solutions and left Shirley out of it. A year later, the lady who trained me retired. Before she left, she showed me how to run phone statistic reports. They showed how many calls each rep took, how long the calls lasted, how many rings before each call was answered, typical call center stuff. She asked me to take over putting together a report including email statistics each month to send to the e-commerce manager. Shirley was to give me the email statistics. After the first month, I emailed Shirley asking for the email stats. She ignored it. After the second month, same thing. I decided if it wasn't important to her, then I just wouldn't do it. I figured if questioned, I would show the emails I sent Shirley reminding her, so my butt would be covered. Nothing ever came of it. So things went on for the next couple of years. Then came the announcement that Shirley's boss had been fired, and while they searched for a replacement, Shirley would be reporting to the president of the company. She was terrified. He had her jumping through hoops. He had her submitting reports to him, attending meetings, answering questions. She returned from one meeting frantic. She told the senior rep, Angela, that he wanted her to bring him phone statistics that afternoon, and she had no idea where to get them. I knew. Angela knew I knew. While Shirley sat at her desk trying to figure out what to do, Angela came to me and said, "You aren't going to tell her, right?" I said, "Well, she once told me she didn't want my help unless she specifically asked for it, right? Well, she hasn't specifically asked me." We grinned at each other. Shirley went to her meeting empty-handed. She ended up getting fired a week or so later. I don't think it was because she didn't have the phone statistics, but that was probably one of many things that made it apparent she didn't know what she was doing. This is the perfect combination of malicious compliance and revenge. Okay, here is our next story. At closing time, I'm still the manager. So I was 19 at the time and a shift supervisor at a local sub shop, Planet Sub. This was my first supervisory managerial position, and for how shy and generally insecure I was at the time, I'm amazed I had the gall to do this. To be fair, it had been a long day, and I had a second job that would give me more hours if I wanted. I was in charge of closing the store, and I had had a couple of staff call in, leaving me and 2 workers to deal with a busy night of sandwiches, pissy and entitled customers. And no breaks save for quick restroom ones. The store closed at 10 and we were for sure going to be shutting things down at 1 second past 10. Clean as fast as we could and be free. All of us had school classes the next day early. Around 9:30 I answered the phone to a terse gentleman demanding to know when we closed because he needed to pick up sandwiches. I told him we shut the doors at 10 so we would have to be quick, and I offered to take his order over the phone so we could just pay when he gets here. He said he would have to look at the menu and rudely asked how he would have any idea what he wanted without seeing the menu. I replied that I had no idea if it was his first or 5th time here. He scoffed and said he would be by soon, before 10. I kept going on about work as we got all the closing and cleaning things done ahead of time that we could. As 10 p.m. neared, I kept glancing out the front to see if he was here, but nope. Once 10 p.m. hit, we got going on what needed to be finished. Food covered, stored in the walk-in, counters cleared, etc. There were a few people finishing up eating in the lobby, but they looked almost done. At 10:15, an irritated voice called into the kitchen asking, "Is there anybody working here? I would like to place my order." I walked out and behind the counter I told him that we closed 15 minutes ago and the kitchen was shut down. "I called half an hour ago and I was told I could come in and get food still, that you were open," he stated. That was me that you spoke to at 9:30. 45, not 30 minutes ago to be precise. We were open, and I informed you that we closed at 10. It is not 10:15 we are closed, I politely replied. There are people here still eating, so you're clearly open. He gestured to the people putting on their coats and walking towards the door. Politely and with forced friendly smile, I said they had put in their order before 10 and just finished. The oven is turned off. The food is put away. I don't effing care. Make me food, he sputtered. Sir, I cannot do that, I replied. We are closed. Everything is put away, and the registers are shut down for the night. We open at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I demand to speak to the manager right now, he hollered. At this moment, folks, I had a moment of clarity that I did not want to take this in the slightest, and I wanted to be a sarcastic, immature prick. I did not get paid enough for this, and I was fed up with the day. One moment, I will get him, I said politely, with a genuine smile, then turned around, removed my hat and apron, hung them on a hood, turned back to face him and said, Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm the manager tonight. I heard cackles of laughter from the other employees in the back who had been listening to all of it. I'm calling tomorrow for the store manager and you will all be fired, he stated as he stormed out. His name is Sean. Have a good night, I shouted after him. He should be here by 7. He turned around at the door. You just lost a very valuable customer. This is the last time I'm coming here. Thank God for that, I said as he stepped out, turning around to flip me off on his way out. Then I quickly locked the door and made sure he left. I called my manager and he just laughed at it. He was a cool guy, total stoner who was laid back. The guy never did come back, but he gave me a delightful memory and story. Okay, here is story number 3. You want me to update you on my progress? Enjoy an email with dumb questions every few minutes. I work for an awful mental health support agency and was injured by a client at work in June and was on work cover for 12 weeks. I recently tried to go back but found my mental health really declined due to the toxic workplace and upper management not caring about anything other than money. Last week I was on a Zoom meeting and juggling my 3-year-old at the same time, but trying my best. After said Zoom meeting, my manager's manager called my personal phone and gave me an informal warning because I wasn't smiling. She told me it would become a formal one if you can't present as an enthusiastic team member. Manager then promptly reassigned me to be directly under her, taking me away from my team and any contact with anyone other than her. Yesterday I missed one call while in the bathroom and she sent a long email about her role versus my role, etc., telling me basically what a pleb I am and said my injury wasn't that bad and people who have been assaulted more seriously have come back much faster because they bully us if we don't return. Now she needs to know my progress and whereabouts every day, even though I'm currently on 10-hour contract on admin duties. Cue compliance! She is now receiving emails every 8 to 10 minutes about what I'm doing in my work, including if I'm taking a toilet break, what program I'm using, who I just spoke to, as well as questions like, I know your email said you'd like me to contact all staff, but I just need you to clarify, you want everyone to receive it, etc., etc. She stopped responding by 11 a.m. and would like to reassign me back to my original boss by next week. It really scares me that that's a mental health agency in charge of the well-being of people who need support, and they're treating their employees' mental health so poorly. Like, that's scary. I hope you guys liked those r/malicious compliance stories read by me, Red. If you did, please poke that like button, poke that subscribe button, and poke the bell icon to get notifications about all my videos. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.